Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's edition of AM Minnesota. We're going to get educated on White Cane Day. Yep, John Davis is the director of the Minnesota State Academy for the Blind. Rocky Hart, isn't that a cool name? Rocky Hart is with us. He's a freshman at MSAB, and he's also the student council president, right, Rocky?
Yes.
How cool is that?
It's great. I really enjoy the opportunity I've had over the last 3 years that I've been at the school, and it's an honor to be serving as our student council president. I think we're going to have a lot to accomplish this year.
As a freshman, he's the student council president. John, has this ever happened at your school before that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. It's pretty impressive. Rocky's a pretty impressive student.
Yeah, I can tell. So how long have you been the director there?
This is going on my 9th year as a director, and then I taught at the school for 10 years before that as a science teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
You still do any teaching, or?
No, it's mostly doing the directing, and then making sure all our teachers are supported and our staff are supported and our CEPAs, and getting all our programming ready and good to go for our students when they arrive and they're here during the school year. So
I'm sure you have a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, a lot of paperwork.
Miss teaching?
I miss teaching. I miss working with the kids directly quite a bit, but it's a different calling, and it's just as important as the teachers, and it helps support that.
Oh, sure.
The programming. So
how many students are at MSAB?
we are at 63 now, and I think we might have a couple more coming. So our numbers are up quite a bit. Typically, we were in the last 10 years we were around 50. So we've grown, but we were up probably 12 or 13 this year, maybe 14 or 15 by the time we're done this next month. So we're growing, which means we're looking for a lot of people to support those students, and I'm been spending pretty much the last month hiring people for the support for some of those students that we've gotten. So
now, you started school in October, is that right?
We started school at the end of August, and so that week before Labor Day, and then we've been going. It's been a little bit over a month, right, Rocky?
Yeah, we started August 29th, so we've...
Yeah.
So, Rocky, you're from the Crosby-Ironton area originally, right?
Right, originally I lived there for many years. I now live in Eagle Bend, Minnesota, and prior to transferring to MSAB, I attended Cuyuna Range Elementary School for 10 years. It was a great school, but it definitely here is where I really enjoy many of the activities I've been able to do, and particularly this the White Cane Day, and many of the other things I've been involved in. It's really been a godsend without a shadow of a question.
Now, you could have been on the student council at the public school. There's no reason why you couldn't, right?
No, well, it never really crossed my mind when I was there, honestly. I mean, when I was in Crosby, I couldn't really find what I really enjoyed doing. I mean, I was involved in many activities. I was involved in Special Olympics. I was involved in a therapeutic horseback riding program. I took piano lessons for a year, but it was hard for me to find what did I enjoy doing, and even if they had a student council there, joining it never even crossed my mind. When I came to MSAB, I fit right in. It was like something I knew that I really enjoyed and that I could carry on. And this year, I'm proud to be serving as our president.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what does the president do?
Well, the president has a number of different things. Of course, I will facilitate the meetings. We meet every other week, and so I facilitate the meetings, and I'm basically leading the rest of the the student council. I'll take the initiative, make sure that everything is taken care of, making sure that flyers are completed, making sure that my constituents are represented fairly, and so that's really what I have been having to do. And this is technically now my 3rd week on the job as president. So I've really appreciated it, and I've appreciated the opportunity that I've had to not only work with the students but also represent the students.
Okay.
That's been a great opportunity for me.
We're going to take a little break here. We're going to come back, talk about White Cane Day, White Cane Day awareness. Rocky came in with his white cane with a red tip. as he entered the studio. Today we'll talk about that when AM Minnesota continues. We are visiting on AM Minnesota with John Davis, who's the director of the Minnesota State Academy for the Blind, which is located over on Faribault's east side, and Rocky Hart. Yeah, good old Rocky Hart. I was going to say Rocky Top, but then I thought better of it. Rocky is the president of the student council over at MSAB, and he's only a freshman. Oh, what an awesome accomplishment that is. And Rocky was explaining to me before we hit the airwaves, you had to do a speech. Anybody that wanted to be the president had to do a speech, right?
Yes. So anyone, there were two candidates, and it was interestingly enough, the person I was running against, she was a senior in high school, and she'd been there for about 10 years, and both of us had to write campaign essays, and what we would do is we would present them to the entire school. So we presented them over the PA system.
And then the school voted.
Right. The entire student body voted except me. I did not cast a ballot because I felt that it was necessary for my constituents to choose a candidate. And I won by 11 votes. I had 24 students who voted for me, and so this final vote count was 24-13, and I gave a very impressive speech. I got a widespread support for it. Literally everywhere I walked for the next 2 days after that speech, people were around the school were congratulating me on it. Some of them couldn't even believe that I wrote the way that I did, and I'm definitely proud of the speech that I wrote.
Yeah.
So
can you, if you don't mind, tell us the first couple of lines, because it's pretty impressive.
All right. When the Minnesota State Academy for the Blind, MSAB, opened its doors in 1866, Harriet Tucker, James Dow, and the many founders of the school envisioned a better, brighter future for themselves and for many generations to come. This mission was to enable students to become independent, productive members of society. Those are the first two lines of the campaign speech that I wrote. It gets even more powerful. I don't have a copy of it, but it gets even more powerful. It's only one print page long. It's about 3 braille pages, but it's one print page. But for anybody who heard it, anybody who heard the tone of voice I gave it, I was very passionate about it. They really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely proud of the speech I gave. I'm proud of the election that I won, and I don't know, maybe I'm making history by winning it as a freshman.
Yeah, I think maybe you are too.
Definitely, but I knew that I was going to make a difference, and I knew that it was going to be very powerful. There were some people who they couldn't believe that I wrote that kind of a speech. The speech that my opponent and I wrote were distinctly different.
John?
And they both did a good job.
We could be.
Definitely,
we could be witnessing our future president of the United States here.
I think he's got some aspirations as far as politics go. I know
Yeah.
last year he helped testify up at the Senate when we went up there to testify about our budgetary requests, and he did a very nice job with them. So
they probably understood your passion. So we're here to talk about White Cane Day. Now, I did some research on this last night, believe it or not. Looked at the White Cane website, and we've done a show about White Cane Day, I think, almost every year since I've been here. So I knew about the White Cane law, but I guess I didn't realize that this is about more than just traffic safety. Right, John?
yes, it's about just blind awareness about the individuals in our communities who are visually impaired, and the just being aware that they're here. One is the traffic safety, being aware that they're out and about traveling around, but just some of the other things that they would need, would like support with during, when they're out in the community, like if you're in the store, Rocky, you may come up
Yes.
to the front desk and request some aid in doing some shopping and finding items around the store, or even just getting a good orientation to what the store is, how it's situated, and where things might be. What are some of the other things you might ask for, Rocky?
Oh, if I obviously if I were in the store, I would probably ask for an assisted shopper. Definitely, if I needed some other products, maybe some cosmetics, maybe some food items, I could definitely go ask for assisted shopper. In Faribault, both Fairway and Hy-Vee, at the customer service, you can go and request an assisted shopper. I know that there are some people who have done it. We've got some blind and visually impaired staff who have said that they have done that. They've been very successful with it. The assisted shoppers have been very kind to them. And I just want to thank anybody who, if you've assisted with it, I just want to thank anyone here in Faribault for doing that. And also for those who have followed the white cane law, which I'm sure we will explain in a little bit. But I just want to thank all of you for following that and being kind to the blind and visually impaired community, because it's really important to us. It's very important for us to know that we are safe, that we're secure, and that the drivers that are driving, that are trying to cross the street, allow us to cross before before they do, and that we are protected from any danger. So I just want to thank all of the people of Faribault for those who are doing it, and I'm just going to encourage all of you, continue to treat us with kindness, dignity, and respect. Obey the white cane law. I think we're going to be much better off.
Well, you opened the door, so let's get to the white cane law. Statute, Minnesota Statute 169.202, Subdivision 1, says it shall be unlawful for any person to carry a white painted cane unless said person is a blind person.
Yes.
Subdivision 2 says blind pedestrian has right-of-way. Any person operating a motor vehicle in this state shall bring that motor vehicle to a stop, give the right-of-way at any intersection of any street, avenue, alley, or other public highway to a blind pedestrian who is carrying a cane predominantly white or metallic in color, with or without red tip, or using a guide dog when such blind person enters said intersection.
Yes, yes. And so this law does not only apply to blind people with white canes, it also applies to blind pedestrians with guide dogs. I think it also applies to deaf pedestrians with dogs and other people who may have other mobility challenges, such as if they have wheelchairs, they have any other accommodations, they have the right of way at any intersection or alley or any public area. So if there's a driver waiting, it is their responsibility to allow the pedestrian, the blind pedestrian with the white cane, or the guide dog, or anyone with a mobility device, to have the right of way before they cross the street.
And it says in the driver's manual, I don't remember this, it's a long time since I read the driver's manual.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me too.
Yeah, but it says here that if a blind pedestrian is waiting at a crosswalk, do not use your horn or rev your engine, because that may distract the pedestrian or the guide dog.
Yep, and it
Right.
may also mask other traffic sounds that the person needs to know is going on to make the safe crossing. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Violation of this, by the way, is a petty misdemeanor.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's a misdemeanor. I think that drivers are actually required to pay a fine.
$300.
$300. Yep. And so it's a civil penalty, but it's still a pretty big fine. And but really, the law favors blind and visually impaired people, those with mobility, and really those with mobility accommodations, and those with people with disabilities as well. So, I think not only is it a law for safety concerns, but I think it's also a law that was really put in place. It was passed back in 1964 by the federal government, and it was a law that is not only a safety issue, but I think it's also a gesture of respect to blind, visually impaired people.
Yeah, to help raise awareness that
Definitely.
visually impaired people are in everybody's community, and just to be aware of that, and to ensure that they can safely travel about the community just as every other member of the community can.
Yes.
The first law, I did a little research on this, the first law was passed in Peoria, Illinois, was championed by the Lions Club. Who else?
Yeah.
I'm a Lion. You're a Lion,
I'm a
John.
lion. Yeah.
So I had to put that little plug in there for the Lions. But anyway, the first law passed in Peoria, Illinois in 1930. 1930, Rocky. So it took 34 years to become a federal law.
Right, right. And if there were some states who were passing laws like this long before the federal law was passed, and of course, the reason we celebrated in October was because in 1964 that's when it was passed, and the official White Cane Day observance is October 15th. However, we adjust that, and of course, as the State Academy for the Blind, we observe it every year, and so we've this particular year, next Tuesday actually, we will be going up to the state capitol, and we're going to be the White Cane Day proclamation is going to be read. I think the governor is going to be there, as well as some of the members of Congress. We're going to be going up to the state capitol. Then we will be going on, I don't know how long the walk is. I think it's probably like a mile or so. We'll be walking from the state capitol down to, I don't know where, Martin Street or something like that. Martin Luther King
way,
Drive.
And I think we're walking towards the cathedral.
Right.
I'm not sure. There might be some construction, so we might have to turn before we get to the cathedral, and then we'll walk back.
Yep.
Back down the Martin Luther King way. So.
Yes. And the White Cane Day walk is really to show awareness of blind and visually impaired pedestrians. I think that is critically important.
So, even though the 15th is officially White Cane Day, you're going to the Capitol on the 10th.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
We're going to go to the 10th, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of support and participation by other individuals and other groups besides MSAB up there. I know we've held it up at the Capitol a couple times before you came, right, Rocky?
I think the last time you did it was like 2013. I remember looking on your website because there was some.
It was before they started the construction on the Capitol. So
yeah.
Then we moved it back down here, and now we're going to go back up to the state Capitol and participate up there. Begins at 10 o'clock. I think there'll be about a half an hour presentation of the proclamation.
So is the student council going? The whole school going?
Most of the school's going. Yeah, most of the school's going. And I think there'd be representatives from the National Federation of the Blind and the American Council for the Blind up there, as well as hopefully other students from schools around the metro area. So
it sounds like there'll be quite a
deal. Typically here in the past few years we've had 150 participants. I think when we were up at the Capitol, if I remember correctly, it was closer to 200. So hopefully we get up to around that number or even more. That would be great.
That would be great. So you're going to give a speech at the Capitol there, Rocky?
I don't know if I'll be giving a speech. It'd be great if I could. That's if they would allow me to do it. It'd be something that I'd be honored to do, though, if I had a chance to give a speech to the state capitol. And really, I did back in March when we went and lobbied up at the state senate. I gave a speech to the E12 Finance Committee as well. So if I get a chance to do it again, that would be great. It'd be truly an honor. It always is when I can give a speech. I don't take that for granted. It's really something I appreciate doing.
Cool. Again, John Davis is the director. Rocky is the student council president. Rocky Hart.
Yes.
Sounds like you got a good heart too, Rocky.
Yes. Yeah. I've had a lot of people compliment me on that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Compassion for your fellow students. And
yes.
You understand what they're going through because you're going through it.
Right. And that other thing too is I understand how some of the administrational stuff works as well, and I think that's one of the advantages. I'm going to be at the school for at least another 3 years, possibly longer, because we do have a transition program that students can attend from 18 to 21. It's called the Academy Plus program, and so I would make the decision at that point as to whether or not I would want to attend that. But I'll for sure be here for another 3 years, and so I think it'll be great.
Thinking of college after that?
I'd like to. I don't know exactly where I'll be going, but I'd like to go to college. I've had careers lined up that I've thought about, like politics, obviously, but also motivational speaking. Writing is something I enjoy doing. In fact, I really didn't know I had a talent for writing until I came here, because I started writing speeches. So I've enjoyed writing. I enjoy public speaking. I enjoy those types of things, and so it's something that I have thought about. I've also thought about getting into teaching. But I really think I've had people that have commented that they think that I'm going to be a mover and a shaker. I think I will with the school too. I still believe that's why I won.
Maybe you'll get into administration.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be the director someday.
Yeah, I probably will be. In fact, we got a committee, site council, and I've been the representative for that now.
So you like MSAB. Forget that
yes.
John's not sitting here,
No.
okay? He's not next to you. He's not here.
Oh yes, I would say that MSAB it's been an honor to be a student at the school. I've really enjoyed it because not only do I focus on academics, I also can focus on independent living skills. Since I'm a residential student, I'm there 5 days a week, so I see what's going on. And I understand many of the concerns, I understand many things that are going on, and I have the intellectual ability to comprehend a lot of it. But as far as the school, I've had more opportunities at MSAB than I could have ever dreamed of in public school. I mean, who would have thought that I would go up in March to testify before the state senate, or that I would be the student council president and write a speech the way I did, or that I would come to KDHL and give a presentation on White Cane Day. Who would have thought that would have ever happened? It never even crossed my mind where I was at. Yes, I was involved in extracurricular activities and many different things, but joining a student council, joining those types of things, never really crossed my mind. It was the best place for me to be at that point. And in fact, when I was younger, I think my mom told me that when I was about 5-6 years old, because we came here for Parent-Child Institute on a couple of occasions. I think there were some people that were asking her at that time, would you be able to, could you send your son to the academy? I think it'd be a great fit. At that time, she said flat out no, because she didn't think it'd be best for me. She didn't want to see me away from home. She didn't think I could handle it. When I came here for the tour in October of 2014, let me tell you, I was so impressed with the school, I didn't want to leave.
Wow.
I wanted to stay. We were only here for 2 hours. I had an entire group of people. I had my vision teacher for students with visual impairments was here, orientation mobility instructor from where I was at. I also had my mother, stepfather, father, stepmother, and then also my grandparents were here. So I had a whole bunch of people. And just about everywhere we went, everybody was welcoming. We visited the classrooms, we visited the dorm area, and I knew really at that point this is where I belonged. And so I finished my school year that year, because we came in October. I finished it in Crosby, had an enrollment meeting, and there was no question on anybody's mind that this is where I belonged. Everybody was in agreement. We were at that meeting. I remember Mr. Davis participated via conference call. We were all in agreement that this is where I belonged. I had all sorts of questions, and I always do. And so it's really been something I've enjoyed.
The White Cane Day website says that the mission of White Cane Day is to educate the world about blindness and how the blind and visually impaired can live and work independently while giving back to their communities.
Yes.
To celebrate the abilities and successes achieved by blind people in a sighted world, and to honor the many contributions being made by the blind and visually impaired. So it's about more than just white cane safety.
Right.
Yes.
No, it's about awareness for all visually impaired individuals and how they contribute to our communities, just like Rocky here is a great contributor to our community at MSAB.
And things are getting better for blind in terms of technological advances, right, Rocky?
Oh, yes. We have all sorts of technology that's coming out. Many different opportunities, more opportunities than we could have dreamed of a long time ago. Even blind, visually impaired people 40, 50 years ago, I probably couldn't dream of some of the things that were going on. We've got KNFB Reader is an example where you can go and you can take the application, you can read different things. there's refreshable braille displays. You have screen readers for computers and iPhones, iOS. So there's a lot more available. We still have a long ways to go yet, but there's a lot more than we could have ever dreamed of, even 30, 40 years ago, really, because that's the way, technology has really been advancing, and I've been using it to my advantage. I've got a computer with a screen reader, and I can use it for a lot of different things. I can do email, I can do websites. I do a lot of work on there, things I have to get done, and so I really enjoy that. Plus, I've worked with a refreshable braille display. I have an iPhone, and I've had a lot of success with it, so I'm very thankful for it.
All right. So locally, you're just going to the Capitol on
Yep,
Tuesday. You're
yep.
not going to do anything in Faribault per se?
Nothing in Faribault. We're participating up at the Capitol, but we wanted to come on to KDHL
Oh, sure.
and just raise the awareness. And it's the whole, we kind of want to raise the awareness the whole month. So just, we live it every day, and we just want to share what we're doing with the community and let them know how kids like Rocky need that support, but they're also
Yes.
very successful on their own,
Yes.
and they do a great job. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Rocky does in the future.
Yeah, me too. Keep me posted, John.
Yeah.
Doggone, I think maybe he'll be president someday.
I don't know.
I've definitely
He's going to be a mover and a shaker. I think.
yeah, I definitely thought about it. I've even joked that I'd run in 2040.
Well, there
Who
you
knows?
go. 2040. Let's see. I won't even think about that.
Yeah, it's a
Thanks.
ways off.
Thanks again, Rocky. Appreciate you coming in, and thanks,
Yeah,
John.
definitely.
Thank you.
Thank
Bringing
you for the
Rocky.
opportunity. I definitely appreciate it.